I have no idea what's going on here. Here at the Speakeasy of the studios, Jason Bryant joined with BDI himself, Richard Immel. We're going to be doing something I've never quite done before. In-studio guest at the bar. This is what the Speakeasy was for, Richard.
This is why I moved to Minnesota.
This is why I built this for you, man. I built it for you. I learned it by watching you. So I'm a little hot on the audio. If you're out there, drop a line in the comments, because I don't know if this is going to work or not. Although we are going to start off with the finest of beverages, Mythic Mongrel, the Bad Weather Brewing. It's an Irish cream ale.
Yeah, what do you got me going with here?
You've got an AleSmith.
AleSmith, Cloudstream, Hazy, IPA. Big IPA guy, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah, so let's see how that tastes.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, the
pretty
setup
good.
is super cool. I haven't seen this all up to date yet, but you got the lights, the TV. You're pimping out my photos over here.
Yeah, I mean, I have remotes for everything, like behind me, like I got that lit up. I don't know if this is going to work because, like I said, I've been working on putting this thing together since I renovated this, and now I actually have. Well, you were here a year ago,
right?
Well, actually, pre-pandemic, before this was even built.
Yeah, for sure.
I was ready for this to be built I was ready in March, and then a year ago we had no tournament, so that's where we're at right now. I have no idea if this video's. If you're out there watching in Facebook, drop a line in the comments. Let me know how it sounds, how it looks, what's the jitter, all that stuff. So a lot of technology I haven't done before. Streaming, MadTalkOnline.com/live. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. So wherever good videos are found. So today we're talking with Richard about his wonderful photography, which I have pimped out here on the screen at rimmelpics.com. That's Rimmel, 1 I, 1 L, 2 M's.
Yeah, I'm open to branding suggestions too. If anyone has branding suggestions. I've been trying to think of a logo for this thing for a while. You know, some people have cool letters and their names that go together, but R and I don't really go together. So I was thinking like RIP, I could make that work, but then that's kind of weird.
You're going to die. It's all about death.
Rip Wrestling. Yeah, that's cool, but it's also like wrestling died. So no. If anyone out there, if you're a branding guy, it's funny because I'm a branding guy, but it's hard when it's your own brand.
Right.
So hit me up.
Yeah. Still also working on the camera angles here. Eventually we're going to have one that shoots across like you from here and then over there, and then I can do, we can do the whole different cameras.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to this, but right now I'm a one-man operation. I don't have a producer. Oh wait, that is me. And one of these days we'll have this all figured out and be all spick and span,
right. Well,
nice
we
and
start
fancy.
our weekly show somehow.
It'll be the long and short of it.
Yeah, that'll work out. I appreciate being your guinea pig. And
You've been the guinea pig multiple times. It's like, hey, test this out. So
yeah.
So before we get in our wrestling discussion, last time you were down here, we had a nice long discussion about marketing, and now you are marketing, but with a different parent company. You were part of the sale from Sport Engine Unloading Track Wrestling to FloSports. You are back with Flo, where you started out as an intern when we met in Fargo in 2012. The headband era of one Richard Immel. This is before BDI and the co-host extraordinaire of Blood Round came into being. But
heck yeah.
Yeah, so a lot different from the last time you left that place.
Yeah, when I was there in 2012. So yeah, fresh out of college. It was I don't even know if you call it an internship. It was an internship, but basically Coach Leitner, he worked the wheels a little bit, I think. Greased the wheels for me. I was able to go down to Austin with who was their intern? There was 20 people in the office, maybe.
Was Brandon Gambucci an intern that year too?
Yeah, Gambucci, Brackey, who of FRL fame now, Kyle Brackey.
Dunking fame, I think.
Right.
The dunking
Spike
West
ball,
Virginian
dunking,
spike ball, really bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we should be careful too with these mics. I don't know if I touch this.
No, I've actually banged on that a couple times. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna do it, but it's not as bad as I turned this guy on I bought this. This is like that classic microphone you see, like the Elvis mic, the Social D mic. This thing is so hot. Like I was just tapping on the bar testing it earlier. You could pick up every single thing on here. So no, you gotta worry about that.
Gotta be careful with that.
Although I am worried about the echo off the top of the bar, but which if you can't really tell here, we haven't really had a good chance to see this as I interrupt Richard's story to talk about me. The shocker, I know, right? Underneath this tempered glass is press credentials from all around various events I've covered in my career. So from a credential from 1994 at a sports information directors conference to the Big Ten's last, actually, when you last stayed here in your, I believe that was your last duties for, was that last duties for you, for Purdue before you left? Or was you were coming on to track wrestling?
Right, yeah. I was crashing at your place for a while, like once a month.
You were crashing here like when I was in like China.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
that's right.
That was strange. But so back to the world of marketing. So you've left, you went Flow, USA Wrestling, met your lovely bride along the way, worked in banking for a little while, not like Les Gutchess banking, but like, worked out at Purdue. Sports Engine, overseeing track wrestling, and then the sale. So you've also bought a house. You've gotten married, and been a really interesting last couple of years for you.
Heck yeah, man! I mean, you left out UWW too, so I feel like I've run the gauntlet for all wrestling.
We did spend a lovely night together in Helsinki.
Oh, yeah, one of the best nights.
And the $38 cheeseburger.
Yeah, the burger. I was going to point out the burger, and Finland was great. I'd recommend a trip to the Nordic region. Love Iceland. The wife and I went there. I mean, it's probably my favorite place I've ever been. We're really excited. We got the overnight in Oslo on the way back from Iceland, but we didn't get the full experience. So if World Championships are in Oslo this year, that's see if we can get to that one. That one should be good.
Yeah, I think that's one of the few things I am scheduled to be at. So
I'm looking forward to that one. I'm going to see if I can weasel my way in. So if anyone's listening,
and wasn't the one of the guys from Game of Thrones on your flight?
Heck yeah, man! Tormund. He was on our way. I think it was our way to Iceland, because he's Norwegian, obviously. So on our way to Iceland, they had it was during the Game of Thrones, like last season. So they had a big premiere in New York City, and we connected through Newark to Oslo to Reykjavik. We used miles, so we had to do the, when you use miles, you don't always get the best flights, but it gets you there for free.
Why am I connecting in Dakar? That's Senegal, in case you're wondering.
It was so cool. Like, I'm not normally one that geeks out, I'm just.
I mean, you're on a first name basis with guys like John Smith and.
Yeah,
Jordan Burroughs
and the other day. That's a funny story.
So
remind me to bring that one back up.
John Smith stories.
Yeah, I grew up. I worked with my heroes. Big wrestling guy. I know Kale. Kale was a hero. John Smith, hero. Those kind of.
But when it comes to Game of Thrones, you fanboy out.
Oh, for sure. I was. He was just. We were standing in line, at the gate to check in because an international flight, sometimes you have to check in and they look at your passport and all this stuff. So he was right in front of me, and he was about my height. Like, he wasn't tall at all. And Tormund on the show is huge. He's this huge dude. He wasn't that tall. It's like I could see orange hair, basically, like big orange hair. I'm waiting in line, and then he turns around and like walks. Like, oh my god, my wife is there. She's like, Richard, look at this. And yeah, it was freaking Tormund on our flight. So
he's one of those guys that. What is the actor's name, or you just refer to him by his name on Game of Thrones?
His name is Kristoff. I forget his last name, but yeah, he's Giant's Milk Tormund. From Game of Thrones. You watched Game of Thrones, right?
Of course, I did.
Of course, yeah. So he's one of my favorites from Game of Thrones. He's the comedic relief.
I was
some tense spots.
Yeah. Well, at one point me and Abby had watched we were binged it all going into the last two seasons, and it was like, okay, I heard you talk about it for years, King of the North, which I realized like all your lines about Game of Thrones in Fargo and those releases were all from like the first 3 episodes. Hey, I'm just like, wait a minute.
Check this out.
Oh, yeah, the Minnesota is coming.
Game of Thrones, Minnesota is coming, purple, the OG one. I have the blue one too that has the Night King on it.
Yeah, I think I gave that to Bill May.
It's kind of crazy that I wore that today. I haven't worn this shirt in like 6 months, but I wore it today.
This shirt's first time I've worn this one. Keep Stanford Wrestling. I think they're in a meeting right now.
Some of those.
I got a sticker over here too. It just came in. So shout out to Addicts, Sports Addicts Gear out of Michigan. They put this stuff together pretty quickly. And to get into wrestling news real quick, Jason Borelli, as we're talking about this, he just accepted the head job at American University. So while they're still fighting to save the program, in Stanford, obviously you got to take care of yourself too. And he is going to be heading other side of the country to Washington D.C. So a little bit different environment there from the farm to a very urban campus at American University.
Yeah, my only thought is good for him, right? I mean, he's been fighting the fight for how long now, and end of the road, you gotta move on. If it's, but hopefully, fingers crossed that everything comes through and we can keep that Stanford program. But at the same time, these are real people, real lives, and they got to do what's right for them. So
Right.
I have always had a good relationship with him. He's a good guy and always friendly to talk to, and good wrestling family. So yeah, you like to see good guys get opportunity, and especially in a situation like this. So happy for him, and I think it'll be a good move, right? He has experience at Stanford, obviously the educational focused institutions, and American, same sort of track record there. So yeah, I dig it.
Well, we're going to talk trials. We had Gabby Lord Klein talking women freestyle last week, and Timmy Hands and I did a marathon in Greco. And if you know anything about that, Mr. Hands and his marathons, whether they be written or verbal,
what a guy!
He is gonna give you content.
That's my guy.
And Tim Hands did not disappoint. The videos are out there now. Actually, just released them. They sit private for patrons and friends over on the Rockfin channel. But about a week, those things are freed up. So if you want to get the full experience of Gabby Lord Klein from Transition Wrestling and Tim Hands from 5pointmove.com talking about Greco and women's freestyle. Today we brought Richard. He was there. He was shooting photos like the glorious one you see on your screen. If you are listening to this on the podcast, you can't see anything other than
great radio.
It's great radio. So in a speakeasy, which you can't see, with sound treatment, which you can't see.
I'm still trying to figure out how I made the cut for the freestyle show.
You were there.
Okay, fair enough.
And I need, again, you're my guinea pig. I need somebody in studio because when I, again, built this because you were moving here, I'm like, we're going to do it in the bar show. Yeah. And it's taken, I had the bar built. It had taken a year to get, the lighting, the sound treatment, the TVs. I was going to actually have like 2 or 3 TVs, but the walls, all the crap on my pennant wheel behind me, which I just completed with the Virginia Squires just off your screen here.
That one stuck out to me, actually. The Virginia Squires. The Peninsula Pilots as well.
That was a single A affiliate of, it started as when I grew up, the Chicago White Sox. So it was the Peninsula White Sox, then the Virginia Generals, then the Peninsula Pilots. They finished up as a Mariners affiliate. And then Bud Harrelson, the old manager of the Mets, bought them and moved them to Wilmington, Delaware, where they became the Wilmington Blue Rocks. So to hell with Bud Harrelson. Now the Pilots are a wooden bat league team down there in a coastal plain league with teams like the Edenton Steamers. No, they did not move from Cleveland.
File that in your Jeopardy notes for whenever.
I got some obscure USFL stuff down here, like the pennant I gave you for your office.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, actually. You gave me 2 pennants.
Yeah, Oklahoma Outlaws.
Mm-hmm. Oklahoma Outlaws and
Michigan Panthers.
No, North Stars, I think. Was it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the old North Stars, because I replaced the North Stars with that one.
Yeah. Congrats on the Bucks, by the
Buccaneers. I got a championship Super Bowl Buccaneers pennant up there. I got the other. Again, I'm pointing off screen here, just behind Richard by the dartboard. You can't see it. Of course, people. I've had to answer my Buck fandom recently. Oh, come on, man! I was like, you know what? I got that jacket in there. That's 8 sizes too small.
Yeah,
I think that's a youth large.
Youth large.
Oh, who am I kidding? I never wore a youth large. It's like an adult medium from like 6th grade. Youth large. My kid wears she's used. I don't even know what my kids wear. Abby, it's like age in a letter. It's like 4T, 5T, 6T.
Yeah, I don't know the size.
You don't have kids yet. Yeah, and you don't have a dog yet. We're getting a dog. So drop some comments or some names for the dog in the chat. It's a girl, Golden Doodle, so keep that in mind.
I said sushi because Jason has an Olympic theme for his.
Yeah, I want Tokyo, but I don't think the kids are going to deal with that. But
I thought sushi was good. Anyway,
so
let's roll. What do you
Road to Tokyo, Fort Worth. Let's talk about that as a host first.
Yep.
What an amazing arena, the Dickies Arena. I mean, of course, it's punny to say, you would expect something so immense from Dickies, but it was a great lighting, great sound, biggest video board I've seen for a wrestling event ever. 2 years old. I mean, the staff, Fort Worth, the CVB, everybody out there, they really did a great job. And we've worked with sports commissions and such. I mean, we even had the Iowa City guy, Coralville, Schamberger, and Eustis were down there helping out. Yep. So I mean, we had the A team come in there, and I think they did a great job.
I was really impressed. Yeah. You expect that for the Olympic trials, but a last minute move, that was kind of worrisome. I would have loved to seen that arena full. I mean, you could hear it. You could hear the crowd noise just having that limited capacity. What were they at, like a quarter or something like that, maybe?
Yeah, it seated 14, I think, without the seats on the floor, it was 12, because I think that whole bowl is 12,000.
Yeah. The arena was super nice. I know they do. My sister's really into gymnastics, and ODU is, they're like the king of women's gymnastics. They've had their nationals there the last couple of years.
That's fighting words. Brandon Paulson is near. His daughter goes to Utah. Also beastly in women's gymnastics.
Actually, so side tangent.
as the case with us.
I live literally right across the street, 2 minutes or less from the Minnesota Twisters, I think is what it's called. Maggie Nichols, who's like the GOAT of women's gymnastics. She's from Minneapolis. She trained there. So that's like the spot for, youth gymnastics. So if I ever do have a daughter, I'm hooked up. I'm like right across the street from the place to go. So, that's probably where Paulson's daughter went to, I would guess, if it's in this area. So this is now a women's gymnastics podcast.
Yep. Game of Thrones. Women's gymnastics.
It all comes full circle.
Peninsula Pilots.
The arena was cool. My dad said it was a good arena, so I trust my dad on that. The venue was great, man. The lighting, as a photographer, the lighting can make or break a tournament. Like your microphone can make or break your experience.
I was thinking about that today. No short time. There is a short time podcast tonight.
Yeah, that was great.
Best call ever.
Oh, that was fantastic. I won't get any better than that ever. It was great. And we had a lot of access because it was limited. Limited access, limited credentials, and that's not something that I'm used to at big wrestling events like that. There was 10 photographers maybe total, and at the trials, probably have 5 times that normally, just across the different outlets. So it was nice, USA Wrestling and the USOPC took care of the wrestling people. You have your Rotundos and Sachs and those kind of guys, Justin Hotch, Riccio, all those guys. It was cool. It was cool to be around, and I definitely enjoyed it. It was interesting though, because normally there's just a lot of hustle and bustle, and it was more quiet in some areas. Like you got more intimate, it felt like, with the action that was going on, or with the coaches on the side, in the tunnels, that sort of thing. So that was a unique experience that I don't think we'll ever have again, unless there's a global pandemic that shuts everything down. But
yeah, let's not do that.
I enjoyed it. Wrestling, though. Let's talk about the real wrestling.
All right. We'll kick off 57 kilos. Thomas Gilman and Vito Arujá came out of the challenge tournament into the finals, where they went best 2 out of 3 there because no world medalist was sitting for that one. Gilman won that series. Let's go back. Let's go down and look at that series real quick as I scroll through the.
It was 2-0.
Yep. I got the fall and then 2-2. But in the early rounds, Gilman didn't give up a point. 2 techs, and then Vito beating Dayton Fix 7-5 in the challenge semifinals was probably one that made people like. I don't think it was a huge surprise to people, but I mean, Dayton Fix was a world teamer last time out, and Vito's been on age group world teams, but I don't know. We can talk about the pandemic being an issue, a mat time and whatnot, and Dayton, of course, didn't have a whole season of college wrestling and such. But overall thoughts about 57.
I think Dayton's a topic in and of himself, so I'll hold on to that for a second. I was talking with some people beforehand, and it seemed like Vito was like the hot pick. I think people just they look for the new hotness, right? Like Fix and Gilman, are we going to get that again? Yeah, that's probably what we.
Well, the Olympic year also does bring that type of thing,
sure.
Let's have Jared Freyer make the team in his 30s in 2012.
We didn't have that this year, really. If you think about who finally won, like the favorites won.
Well, and the women, everybody that sat won.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's your favorites.
It was surprisingly expected, compared to what I was thinking going in. I was like trying to peg beforehand, who's the 9 seed Who's the Frank Molinaro that's gonna punch?
Well, Greco is Jesse Porter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, shout out to that guy. He wrestled his butt off, man. He was
Number
he was
10.
second at the
He was
last chance, wasn't he?
He was 10th out of 10 in the challenge tournament seeds.
Yeah. Women too. Kylie Welker.
14.
Yeah.
13 or 14, because if
Holy
she's a
cow.
14, how the brackets worked out. But yeah, she was second at the tournament, the last chance, down a weight.
It's funny how that works. Yeah, for sure. So reining it back into 57, Vito was always a guy. I remember him at cadets. Specifically, I watched him at the World in Tbilisi. He's one that's like throws up points left and right. You know, he can get to his attacks. He can score. You're not worried about him scoring points. You're worried about him giving up like unnecessary, silly points or just flurries. He'll give up a 4 to get a 2 type of a situation. I think Fix, they wrestled at Pelicone, I believe, and Vito went up big. Fix came back. You know, and it was almost the same exact situation this time around, where Vito went up big and Fix closed the gap and almost got him right there at the end. So you like, with Vito, if he gets a big lead, you're like holding your breath. Is he going to hold on to this? Is he going to do it? You know, is he going to, if he just becomes so sound positionally, kind of like a Gilman, you know, it's really hard to score on him. I feel like that, and that's a dangerous man right there. And he's definitely improved on it. Obviously, he made the finals. He beat Fix. He's getting better. Has a track record as a age group world medalist. You kind of expect him to make those jumps. So yeah, great tournament by him. And you know, I think there was one point in particular in his series with Gilman. He was winning in that first match, and then Gilman's driving his underhook, like pushing him to the edge. And there was a sequence where Vito, instead of just giving up the one, like step out, he went for a lat drop and got put on his back, gave up 4 to Gilman. Gilman took the lead, and you know, they gave him a 4. He took the lead, and that was a wrap. Like the momentum was gone. But up to that point, I think it was second period of the first match, Vito was looking good. I was like, man, he might do it. You know, like Gilman's tough. It's gonna be hard to beat twice, but he might steal a match here. Yeah, I was impressed with Vito, but Gilman, man, like, what can you say? That dude's just so solid. You got to be at your best to beat him. He's going to bring his game every single time, even if you know what it is. Like, it's hard to stop. You know, he's got a good freestyle game. He controls the mat.
You also have the very nice Thomas Gilman now off the mat versus the confrontational one we've seen.
So my wife, Amanda, did the press conferences, and Gilman was one that she said, you know, people have reputations, right? She doesn't know a lot of these guys. She was super worried about doing a press conference with Gilman, and at the end of the day, she goes, you know what? I really like him. He was great. You know, she said that about him and Oliver. She was worried about like reputation coming in. Like, what are they going to say? You know, just unexpected. You know, chip on their shoulder. Is it going to be easy or hard? Some people have reputations, right? Like, maybe you don't know if you've never had to interview some of these guys, but some people are definitely way more, you're scared to go talk to them versus other people. Like, I'm not scared to go talk to Jordan Burroughs, but Gilman, I get, like, he could be an intimidating figure. So
even though he's 57 kilos, is
small. But I have the same thing with Gilman. Like, anytime I've talked to him in person, it's like off the camera.
Mm-hmm.
He just has a very calm, rational, like respectful demeanor about him. So it's different. Yeah. So you got to appreciate that side. Anyway, I was going off again on another tangent, but Gilman's a beast, man. He's got a track record too, where, you know, he can win a world medal, an Olympic medal.
Well, he's won a world medal. Now it's just that Olympic medal.
Right. He has to wrestle his match, and if he gets behind, that's where he gets in trouble. If he can keep pace, you know, then he can beat anyone in the world. But if he gives up a 4-pointer early, like, it's really hard for him to get back in the match because of the way he wrestles. So he's got to wrestle almost perfect, but he does have the toolbox to get there. You know, it reminds me, like, the Penn State thing. Gilman goes to Penn State, Snyder goes to Penn State. It seems like they're evolving a little bit. You know, they made those moves to specifically change their environment, and maybe get a different philosophy mindset for their wrestling, I feel like it's safe to say Penn State has a different mindset than some other, your other powers, right? I think they're, if you're around all the programs enough, I feel like Penn State is different. So I find it interesting to see that Penn State had 4 guys in the finals, 3 guys make the team. 3 of the 6 are training at Penn State. Something to be said for that. Gilman grows. Snyder, it looked like he was hitting a wall there a little bit.
I mean, Snyder's back grew.
But he looked like a different guy.
Right.
He was untouchable. Granted, he didn't go against Cox, and we can get into that.
I don't know if we're going to we don't have enough time for that one.
Yeah, well, for sure. But you get the point. I feel like I've said enough about Gilman, but I'm excited to see what he can do. People evolve over time. He's got experience. You got to be excited about that. You're not having a guy who doesn't know what to expect going to Tokyo. Experience does count a lot in this game.
I do have a hunch he'll probably dress better than the last Hawkeye at that weight on the Olympic team, Daniel Dennis, who was not happy with the Olympic garb. One last thing about the weight. Nathan Tomasello announced earlier today that he's leaving Duke, where he was an assistant coach with Glenn Lanham this year, heading to your old stomping grounds in Norman to train with the Oklahoma RTC with Louie and Sam Hayeswinkle. So Tomasello, came back through, earned that national team spot, and kind of reignited the fire there.
I dig it, man. We all know NATO's just super tough, right? Always been an elite level guy, going back to, the youth days.
It's like becoming Columbus South down there, though. All
the right?
Little Buckeye flavor, not just the Buckeye. I mean, Demas is from Columbus.
Yeah, Lou's definitely got the Ohio PA pipeline running. Which, you got to do, especially at Oklahoma. It's different than Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State tends to own the in-state recruiting for the most part. OU's got to break through on those to really compete with Oklahoma State. Get those in-state guys like Piccolo. They got Piccolo recently. He's a top kid out of Oklahoma. But you see the fixes from Oklahoma. He went to Oklahoma State. Plott is another guy, big name recruit, went to Oklahoma State. And if you're not going to be able to break through on those in-state guys, you've got to be able to recruit nationally. And Oklahoma's a brand where I think you can and should recruit nationally. But at the same time, if you can lock down your state when you're in the Oklahoma level of high school wrestling talent, then definitely helps. So, I look forward to that dynamic, going forward. Clearly, I'm biased, even though I've tapered my feelings toward Oklahoma State a little bit over the years.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
I
do like that maroon. It was a high school color, crimson and cream, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So well.
Happy to see NATO heading to Norman. That'll be fun. They have a pretty good, roster there. They've got Heil, they got NATO. Hayeswinkle just signed on as the coach there not too long ago, so they're building out some roster. I'd like to see a full RTC squad. Get them in that RTC Cup or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sweet. 57. Anything else?
At the point of repeating everything everybody else has said for the last week.
How do we be different here?
Well, just perspectives. We're both on the floor. We're seeing things a little differently. So it's, and then maybe perspectives like, look, for example, we got a 65. We haven't qualified it yet. A lot of talk about what happened at the Asian qualifier. And some big names like, okay, this guy's going to be in the last chance. This guy's going to be in the last chance. What's it mean for J.O.? Well, Jordan Oliver finally wins a spot. And this is something, I remember watching him as a freshman. I remember going to the Lock Haven Fall Classic when Jordan, I think, was a freshman or a sophomore. And Eric Grajales came up from Florida to try to wrestle Jordan Oliver. And his dad, Caesar Sr., is like, we came here to wrestle Jordan Oliver. And, of course, I think one of the Mitchell brothers beat Grajales early. They didn't meet. And it was just like, and seeing Jordan Oliver, and then seeing, I remember him wrestling at 125 pounds for Oklahoma State at like the Missouri Open. I'm like, okay now. And, just seeing, this kid's been all world, and he finally is going to be that world part. So we'll see that. Over Joey McKenna, a guy who went from Final X to not qualifying for the trials to Olympic trials finals. So this guy's had a little bit of a peak and valley type of situation too.
Yeah, and also, that was the finals matchup at the U.S. Open, I guess December of 19. So
that just seems like forever ago. I mean, yeah, I guess maybe the surprise is how McKenna goes from not qualifying to beating Zane. And then everybody seems to be talking about Nick Lee's run through the consolations. Even Jordan Oliver was talking about it on Bashmania going, I had to get that match over with.
Yeah, Nick Lee was just on another level, man. I was like, that dude. Man, just impressive. He just doesn't stop wrestling. Like he's kind of like Vito. Vito's just like, I'm going to throw up points. Nick Lee is like that times 100. He just shoots. He'll go upper body, he'll go lower body. Winning the NCAAs had to do wonders for his psyche. Yeah, he's not expected to go win this tournament. Let it fly, man.
What about the fact that neither Zane Rutherford or Yanni Dachmahalis actually made the national team?
Yeah.
Which I guess there's been discussions. National team isn't as big of a deal in freestyle with the RTC funding and such, but it's still national team. I think Ben brought that up.
Deal, you get that top 3, you get the training camp opportunities, you get the overseas opportunities. Not that they aren't going to get to go wrestle.
You win a training camp in Minsk. Yeah. Congratulations. You get to go to Krasnoyarsk in January.
Yeah, well, if you're trying to be the best at wrestling, you do those things.
You go to Krasnoyarsk.
Yeah, I would love to go to Krasnoyarsk. And
that
tournament is this like within the next month, the Urigan. Yeah, they pushed it back. So actually we could go and I don't know if it's at the end of April or early May, but definitely a different temperature there.
What do you think their masking requirements are in Krasnoyarsk, Siberia this time of year?
I think COVID just dies outside.
COVID's like, man, this is too cold out here. Screw that. Yeah, forget that. Now, I mean, again, 65, we still got to qualify the weight. But again, looking at Nick Lee beating Rutherford, Nashon Garrett, and Yanni Dachmahalis back to back to back. Now, granted, Garrett, of course, a tweener for this, but I mean, you got NCAA champs aplenty. So,
well, yeah, but this one was definitely, if not my favorite weight, it was definitely in the top 2. 86 was also just like, man, so good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy for Jo. I feel like that's a guy where he's put in his time. He's finished second, like three or four times at the trials. There was that, he just couldn't get over the Metcalf hump, and then Metcalf loses in 2016, and Jo, here comes Aaron Pico, right? Like Pico just came out, and if Pico doesn't do it, maybe it is Jo that's on the team there. He's always been right there. It's just, for whatever reason, he hasn't punched through, but he's got the talent. I remember when I was at USA Wrestling, we were always talking about, man, Jo just puts it together. If he commits, like he's got the talent to be the best guy, and he'd go over to an international tournament and he'd win a medal, and you'd be like, there it is. Like, just, believe in the system, believe in the process. For whatever reason, it hasn't worked out, but you like to see a guy that's committed 10 years now, post-grad, something, close to it, making his first team. I mean, I love to see that. I hope he goes and he wins the whole damn thing. Not just because I'm an American, but because you like to see that hard work and commitment to the sport paying off. A lot of guys, if they don't make the Olympic team this year in their first quad, they're out. They're going to go do MMA, or they're going to go coach or whatever. And for Jo to stick it out so long, he's my age. I'm thinking about it, maybe a year younger.
I think he was a true freshman now, so that would have been 08, 09. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, he's been at it for a long time, bouncing around. He's been at a few different places. I think UNC's been great for him. They're doing some great things out there. You got Jo, and Kilty had a great tournament. You got to wonder what happens if she doesn't get hurt there at the end. And their college team, they got the first national champ in a while.
95. TJ Jaworski.
Yeah, Edmond Memorial. Full circle.
Oklahoma reference.
Yep.
Who started out his career at Oklahoma State.
Oh, well,
no, yeah. that lost season whole thing. You know, he's kind of
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I think I wrestled at the TJ Jaworski Turkey Day Classic or something back in the day.
Yikes. Real quick on this is you talk about guys sticking it out. Frank Molinaro came back, gave it one last go. Got beat early, left his shoes on the mat. Something you don't see from freestylers nearly as much as you do Greco guys. But you know, his hair looked perfect. Always out there. I'm wondering. I tried to watch his matches to see if he still got punched in the face in the first 5 minutes of 5 seconds of every match. I don't think. I think he avoided the left.
That was like. That Frank Molinaro was here to scrap, man. Like he was a bad dude. Still a bad dude, obviously. But, yeah, man, that run he had in 16, you know, going on into 17 a little bit.
It's like a centimeter away. Centimeter away.
Yeah.
Centimeter away from a bronze medal.
Yeah, gotta tip your cap to Molinaro for sure. Coming back out. I mean, why not? You're qualified if you're in good enough shape, and he's done it before. He had a better seed this time than he did when he made the team. So, not much else to say there. Frank's a good guy. My favorite memory with Frank is when he would get a crazy haircut, I would match it, and we'd Snapchat each other our haircuts. So that was always fun.
Snapchat.
You don't know what Snapchat is?
I know what it is. I'm just terrible at it. The only people who send me snaps are like Tommy and Kevin.
Well, yeah.
I think they're only on it to send.
I don't have it anymore.
I don't know. It's buried in my phone. It might have that little like down arrow thing on it because who knows?
Yeah, I deleted it. My wife just would prefer to like take a picture and send it to me. So I'm like, okay,
so you can keep it, and then like clearing off my daughter's iPad today with 8,752 pictures.
Exactly. So like I don't ever use it because none of my friends really use it.
Because we're
getting old.
I'm in my 40s now. So obviously 74.
Decent weight.
Dake Burrows it's kind of been beaten to death. I mean, Dake was beating people to death the entire time. I mean,
he's a killer.
What is it? I was just looking at one of the headlines on YouTube from NBC Olympics today was, you know, as you scroll through them, suggested for you, Dake destroys Null 42 seconds. I'm like, is that really what? Is that how long that match was? I mean, it was like,
I got lucky, man. I had my camera at the ready for that Nolf match. I caught the sequence.
I mean, they got like horizontal.
Yeah, he was like.
I mean,
look at the photos.
Did you catch? Was him in the air like going down or bouncing back up? Because he definitely bounced.
Both. I got both. I actually got it super clean. One guy on Twitter.
I mean, that knocked the wind out of me, and I was 100 feet away.
I know. I was like, oh my god. That was unbelievable, man. Number one, just the amplitude on that.
I mean, that's illegal even in Texas.
That's Jason Nolf.
Yeah.
That's like 3-time NCAA champion.
That's
Jason
not
Nolf.
Chop liver.
You know, if that was me, I'd get it.
That's not a roofer. That's not.
Holy cow! That when he did that, I was like, oh, he might win. He might beat Burrows. But before that,
it's that collective. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, the Burrows thing. It makes me sad. It's like a happy, sad thing, right? Like Burrows is...
We know somebody's going to be right there for a medal, but at the same point, that's guys carried us through the decade. Like, you know, first world championship I witnessed with my own eyes was Burrows in 11, coming out of nowhere. I mean, being in the building and then and just, you know, it's like one of the. I was thinking about all that's like, I think Kozak put up a stat that he had like.
Is that Denmark?
No, 11 was Turkey.
Okay.
Because we did terrible in Moscow.
Moscow, that's 10.
And then 9 was Denmark, and Dermil was in the finals in Greco, and Tatiana Padilla, now Tatiana Suarez, was a bronze. Adeline was 5th. Jake Herbert was 2nd. That was like, you know.
Moscow was rough. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, Obi was the best performer and was winning in the quarters and got decked. It was just like, that was just like the worst. You know, Elena made the finals that year, but from a men's freestyle perspective, like just to go from that to, you know, the guy really, I mean, I think it's not overstated that he did put USA Wrestling on his back, especially men's freestyle, and said, all right, we're going to do it, and going on a, you know, win streak like that. And I was thinking about it sadly. I was like, man, how many times have I actually been there to see Burrows lose? And I hated to count it up because I'm like, I'm just going to stop going to events he wrestles now. But I mean, just yikes. Just what he's been able to do for the sport.
For sure. My first World Championships was 13 in Budapest. We didn't do so hot there. Jordan 1, but that was his broken ankle year. That was incredible.
Yeah, you had your issues with like the local transit system.
Yeah, I did get stopped by the I don't know what you call it, the subway. It was the police.
Yeah.
The police in Budapest. I was taking the subway back.
Well, at least you didn't get pepper sprayed like Willie did.
I did not get pepper sprayed. No. It was after the women's freestyle. I think we had like a social event, and then I was coming back after midnight and, to the hotel, but I had to take the train. But your ticket, you had to buy like a week-long ticket to do the train, and then...
It was a 9-day event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something like that. So you have to go up these long escalators to get down to the subway or get up from the subway. And they had the police like in the middle. So like, it was a zigzag. Great radio. I'm doing hand motions. The guy stopped me. I was like, "Do you have your ticket?" And they tried to I don't know if it was for real or not, but it was like 40,000, whatever Hungarian.
Forint, I believe.
Forint.
Forint. I'm going to do a quick Google on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's forint.
Forint to USD.
I was freaking out though because I didn't know the conversions in my head, and they were trying to give me a ticket. I'm like, I don't know.
40,000 is $133. That's a legit ticket.
Yeah.
Whereas 4,000 is only 13. You're like, oh, okay.
It was 40, I think. It was 40. So, shoot.
What'd you do?
Coaster stuck. USA Wrestling coaster.
Yeah. I can't remember where I got those. They might have been a going away present when I left.
Yeah, I still rock my luggage that I got.
I got my golf bag, which, by the way, we need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
golf course.
Although it snowed today.
No, what I was going to say, though, is like, it's funny how full circle that World Championships was when Burroughs had the broken ankle and Dake was there, like ready to roll.
Ready to go.
And that whole situation, and Burroughs goes, and then now it's a decade later almost, and Dake's finally broken through.
Yeah, at the weight. I mean, obviously he had the two titles at a different weight, but
of course.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Dake's a killer, man. It's going to be hard to stop him. I know. I want to temper everyone on the everyone's going to win a gold medal thing because it just doesn't happen,
Yeah, I mean,
but
you think everybody can medal?
Adeline Gray was the surest thing for a gold medal ever. She didn't even place, so it's not a for sure thing.
Crazy things happen during the Olympic year.
Yeah, it's crazy, but at the same time, you gotta like our odds. Our percentages to get a good medal count freestyle.
Right.
It's a great team.
And again, it's 16:08, so you've got, and you're
yes.
There. It is seeded. You're not necessarily Dake's case, he probably won't be based on what we know, but
you like your chances. Dake can win 4 matches. Sidikov's no joke though.
Yeah.
Like don't.
Your flight buddy.
He's my dude. I like him a lot. I don't.
It's like, man, I wish I would. Yeah, tell that story real quick.
Well, I don't know. So
Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I was going home from Kazakhstan. So he beat Burroughs, and Burroughs got third, and he got first. We were in the airport flying from Nur-Sultan to oh man, the air conditioner popped on.
No, that's actually the sump pump.
Okay.
Because there's the closet over there off screen.
Got it.
Supposed to be sound treated, but I haven't.
Say no more. You sound treated almost everything.
Well,
forgot the one.
You ought to see the pile of hats and wrestling shirts in there. I mean, it's pretty. The sound's pretty dulled.
Yeah. Sidikov. So bullet points. So I'm sitting there in the Nur-Sultan airport. It's a pretty small airport, super nice but small. Justin Hotch, myself, we're just shooting the shit, whatever. And the Russian team is on our flight. Like they roll up, we're all sitting in the pre-flight area. I'm talking to Justin. I'm like, man, we're like, what if you sit next to Sadulayev? Like, what would you do? What would you do if you're sitting next to Sadulayev on a 4-hour flight? We're flying from Nur-Sultan to Moscow. It's like 4 hours. Would you like try to strike up a conversation? Would you just like ignore him? Would you like America? Is the best. We don't. I'm trying to figure out how. PC
I'd want to get on his IG so I can get more followers.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, I'm not riding a horse or a yak or something like that through the countryside, but I mean, I'll be honest. I did take a picture with him in the buffet line at Worlds in 2015.
Yeah,
He was much shorter then. I was like,
a stare down with him in Paris. We were walking. You're walking by each other, and it was like first one to break eye contact, and he nodded at me and like broke eye contact first. I feel like that was a big one for America. But that's my personal feat.
I probably would have been like, oh, see, let me think. Ursula Ton. He didn't wrestle Snyder that year, so I would have probably been like, oh yeah, Paris speaker. And then he would have probably gone Budapest speaker. I'm like, oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I wanted to no sell that one so hard.
What is
And you're winning by fall. Abdul Rashid said you laugh.
Get it right. As Justin and I were talking, we were having this hypothetical, like, oh, what if so and so sat next to you? Justin actually had done those fire and side portraits, and he had one for Sagilayev. So we went over and like talked to him real quick, and he gave him the photo. And they call him Rashid, by the way. They call him Rashid. His name's Abdul Rashid, but they call him Rashid. So it's like Rashid photo, yes. Anyway, so we were having this conversation. I was like, yeah, I'd strike up a conversation with him, but if it was Sidakov, like, screw that guy, man. Like, he like took down my hero, like I can't twice. So
sure enough,
we're on the plane. I'm on there and I'm just waiting. I got my headphones on, ready to get the heck out of there. Guy comes and sits right next to me on the plane. It's Sidakov wearing his, crushed velvet Russian warm up.
What is that velvet?
The dude was like in rough shape. He had won the night before, so he was having a good time, I think. He like sat down and passed out in the seat next to me. I was like,
wake up, you got a world champ just sleeping on your shoulder.
He was. He's like drooling all over me.
Did you bottle that up?
Yeah,
we can clone him.
No, but he woke up and I might have been editing some photos or doing something. I forget what I was doing, but essentially we started talking, and he doesn't speak very much English, but he put a Russian keyboard on my phone, so we were texting back and forth. I still have the Russian keyboard on my phone, actually. It's kind of funny. We were texting back and forth, just talking about life, wrestling. I was trying to figure out who he was. He was telling me some crazy things, like he's never taken a vacation. If he could go anywhere in the world, he want to go to the beach because
he was about to get married.
I don't know if he said that.
Just kind of glance over that.
He was telling me stories about training and about the 86 kilo guy Nafanov. His parents were in something about him. He's from Ossetia, so Beslan, I think, is the city. They had a big terrorist attack in that city at a school building, and he was in it, and his mom was a teacher, and he's like telling me all this stuff, and I'm just learning these stories about they're just real people, and he trains wrestling, but again, it's just all full circle that we're all cut from the same cloth, right? We're all wrestlers. It was like that universal language that we had.
Ken Berger said that at the Olympics when we were in 16, because he spoke English, a little bit of Spanish. One of his co-broadcasters spoke Portuguese and a little bit of Spanish, and I spoke very little English. And he goes, and Ken is such a like, there's like, you see, Jay, we speak the language of wrestling. Yep. The international language of wrestling. That's how he just said it. So it's he's a little guy out there. Yeah. So
it was super cool though. Yeah. Like I, took a photo and we exchanged contact info and all that stuff. And
does he Snapchat?
He Instagrams. He had gotten hacked on Instagram, by the way.
IG is huge in Russia.
He was really ticked off about that. He was showing me like this a-hole. He even typed in this I'm paraphrasing, this a-hole like here, he won't give me my Instagram back.
Yeah, you can have my V contact, but Instagram.
Yeah.
So
that was good. So anyway, I like Sidakov, but I'm definitely one take to kick his butt. So
we got 3 weights to go, and we've got, according to your timeline, about 10 minutes. So
well, yeah, actually my wife texted me too. Kind of like real world current events. We have a curfew now in Champlin, and there's reports that there's going to be a protest activity. So probably should think about wrapping this up sooner than later.
Yeah. So 86 Taylor over Nickel. The best thing I remember about that was Nickel slapping Zahid on the ass after that sequence. Oh my goodness. Dort Mayhem announced with her. She is doubled over laughing. She's like, he slapped him on the ass. It was just, that's something I've never seen actually during a match before.
That was interesting. I posted this on my Instagram last night. I finally edited that match. Holy cow. I had so many photos from that match I wanted to...
It's like, don't reach back. Yeah, you've never met Bo Nickel.
Oh, my goodness. That was the best match of the trials. Like, my favorite match, at least.
He also has the OG Air Jordan 1s, Dark Mocha. He was wearing them as...
Bo?
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
My dude's got style. But so does he. Like, those are both stylish guys. So
it may or may not have been watching a pool game that involved AJ Ferrari and Pat Downey.
The Mochas are good.
Yeah.
I
got them down here.
Yeah, those are like up to $500 now.
Yeah, I'm not getting rid of them. I love them too much.
They're great. They're great.
Obviously, 97, we know Snyder, no Cox. That thing is going to be adjudicated. We're not done there. And then Gable at 125. He's been the talk of the internet, our wrestling, and then the world of sports entertainment. Guys at WrestleMania with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman and like, dude, I want to go to WrestleMania. I just want a ticket. Actually, I want to announce it. But I was texting Briscoe like, what do these announcers do? I was like, just curious in case I need to cross over as well. But yeah,
it's JR, I think.
But I'm I don't know, man. I mean, they just hired the guy from ESPN to do Raw, Adnan Virk. Like they just hired him for Raw. I'm like,
pretty good.
Yeah, but they had the coach, but Coachman went the other way. But,
yeah, right.
But so we've got drama at 97 still. Gable just taking the baton and not just running with it, but backflipping with it. Holy crap, what elevation.
That guy is insane. I don't know if it's because he lost to Kassar and that focused him and that was the best thing that ever happened to him or what.
Combine that with not winning juniors in Slovakia that year.
Yeah.
Losing to a guy that he had beaten twice.
You got to respect facing the adversity. Was that the Uzbek guy?
Uzbek who's been popped, so he's out of the... Pretty sure he's out of the bracket. Yeah. Last I heard, because there's twins. It's like Kasan Boy and Kusan Boy. I don't know. Bill May knows the pronunciations a little better than I do there.
The thing with Gable is we always saw the raw talent, the ability for a heavyweight. He just gets to the angles that you're like, how is he doing that? If you really look at the close details, just his angles. Like he uses his angles and his pressure so well, and for a big guy that's. You haven't seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
Guys don't move like that. So when he's able to do that type of game to a guy like Gwizdowski, yeah.
2-time world medalist.
Jeez.
It's not like, Nolf's good, 3-time champ, but he's not world medalist.
With all due respect. You can say anything now, with all due respect.
Well, it's exactly what it means.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I don't know what else to say about the guy. I mean, when he came out of high school, because I
just wanted to come back for his senior year so we get to see him on the college mats one more time.
Well, I mean, he's got 2 years if he wants it, right?
Right. Here's the thing is, if he wins gold, do you think he comes back? I don't think so.
No, I don't think he will, and I don't know if I would advise it. How much money could you...
I mean, you can get that degree. I mean, here's the thing. So people are like, oh, he's foregoing in education. No, everything's been online. It's not like he can't take classes in...
I got an education
Orlando
when I was working at USA Wrestling. Go to school.
And thing is, you can be in college for 7 years and not get one like I did. Yeah. So, I mean...
or you can be like Shane Griffin and get a Stanford degree in 3 years. Or real world,
yikes. Freaking nuts.
Sorry to bring that back, but...
keep Stanford.
Hashtag keep Stanford Wrestling.
Which got a pretty good ovation at trials.
That was cool. I did enjoy that.
Did no sell him during Shane Griffith's final, too.
Yes, I enjoyed all of that. The Stanford AD has not replied to me, so he didn't block me on Twitter. I've sent him a few things, but he has not replied either. So
Fresno State AD, the old AD, or the old president actually followed me on Twitter. Anyway, I got another story about that entirely.
Well,
he's not
getting back to that.
Not anymore. But yeah, and as far as that school in southeastern Virginia unfollowed all of those social accounts yesterday.
You know what else was a good match? Sorry to bring this up. 97 kilos, AJ Ferrari and Ben Honas was a great match.
Yeah, and I do think the revisionist history on that, it wasn't 4. I saw it as 2-2-2 or 2-2-1. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
That was a weird.
it was a weird situation. I thought there was 2 left off the board for Ferrari in that situation. Anyway,
I think I did too. I thought,
but yeah,
when I was looking at it, I thought worst case scenario for Ferrari was 4 Ferrari, 2 Honus, 1 Ferrari. So that's how it should be called if it was a feet to back.
Yeah.
He countered. But then it could have been 2-2-1, right, at the same time.
I was, again, I was splitting it for 4 matches. I thought 2-2-1 would have been. I have to go back and rewatch. I haven't rewatched it, so it's.
But that match was great. It had a lot of momentum swings, and that was one that Honus kind of took command early. Ferrari came back. Honus,
and Ferrari almost did that to Machiavello, like almost got the 2 at the end. Yeah. I mean, time was so close, but it was like, ooh, pull the trigger a second earlier.
Yeah, for sure. That's what
kid doesn't have a problem pulling the trigger.
But the John Smith thing. So my wife and I, we were getting our COVID tests in downtown Fort Worth, and we were walking to the CVS, get some Tylenol or something, and John Smith was walking out of the CVS, going back towards us. So we stopped and we know each other, so we shake hands.
Oh, hey there, Richard.
Yeah. But my wife did the press conferences for NCAAs too. She was doing it at trials, not the one about Gilman. Not that one. There were 2 rooms. The Gilman one. That was another story altogether.
It's the Olympic year. Strange things happen.
Strange things happen. Like Gilman unexpectedly coming out of the 1 seed to win the trials. Where was I going with this?
John Smith, CVS. Smith. Yeah. Your John Smith CVS story.
Yes, John Smith CVS. So I was saying, hey, we're catching up, whatever. Normally he asked me about my dad because he went to high school with my dad. They were same class, went to college together, all that good stuff. He did not ask me about my dad this time, which I thought was a win. He just knew me for me, which I appreciated. So shots fired at Greg there. But my wife did the press conferences for NCAAs.
Yeah, eat that GDI.
Yeah, exactly. He goes, my wife said something to the effect of, oh yeah, thanks for, the interview at NCAAs. It was a good time, blah, blah. He goes, oh, so you did the interview. She's like, yeah. He's like, oh man, thanks for putting up with AJ. Like, holy cow. And my wife's like, yeah. You might have said thanks for being patient with him. But it was just funny because that's immediately where he went right away. Was going to AJ, and my wife's like, yeah, he's great, just like a personality. And John was saying, oh yeah, he's great. People think he's hard to handle or something. You get that impression on the outside, but he said a lot of fun coaching it. Like it's re-energized him a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think he was like nobody works harder than him is what he said. He's always in there. He's always working hard. He's always learning, and it's like exciting to coach him for John.
Well, like at Nationals when he runs back and he forgot his anklets, runs back, puts the ankles, then throws them on, shoots him, and he runs back in front of the head table, and Hazard, he goes, look at John, and there's John just walking. He's got his headgear in his hand. He's got AJ's headgear in his hand, because I think he kept him from spiking or something, grabbed it from him before he, whatever. And he's just shaking his head, and Hazard looks over and yells at him, and something like, once in a generation, and John went, oh, I know. It was one of them, like, yep. I think Hazard might have said 4 more years or something like. It was something crazy. So, but we had a good trials. It was good storytelling all around. I spent a lot of time with Tony Rotundo because we were pretty much same hotel. That's where we could go. They're across the street. I know there were some definite places you could probably have gotten COVID in that town. One was the Varsity Tavern, which I avoided at all cost. Yeah. But I thought the food was great. I thought if we're going to put events in Fort Worth, I think right there, that neighborhood great. Is great. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of a college vibe. The barbecue, I was told by like 19 different people, go to Heim Barbecue. Crush that. Pretty good local beer. So I was pretty happy with Fort Worth.
I agree. I would like to see more wrestling there. Easy to travel into. A lot of hotels in the area. Venue was great. A lot of great food. It's a good time, I'm not a fan of Dallas, so let's not do Dallas. But Fort Worth is cool. I have my own reasons for not liking Dallas.
Yeah. Well,
we don't have to get into that.
Yeah, we don't have to go into your reasons about Austin either. Not just because it has nothing to do with where you actually are employed.
We didn't talk about any of that.
Yeah. We didn't talk about the turf stories. But Richard he broke in the Speakeasy before there was a bar here. Now you're the first in studio guest officially in here. We've had, there was supposed to be a party here last year. I mean, this was supposed to be well used by now. There was probably supposed to be a hole in the wall by the first week, but
sometime soon we'll get it done.
we can do, as long as we figure things out. We are this is how it's going to work. I just work on the technology.
If you guys listening at home, and if you've made it this long, you actually give a crap what I'm saying. Thumbs up.
Yeah, because the monitor is like behind us, so we can actually.
I could look over there.
You probably could, like
instead of just I'm getting my profile.
I'm just worried about my audio levels.
If you guys want me on more podcasts, like let me know.
Yeah, because 15 minutes away, you can drop by. We can do a show.
Someone who's like needs to be the center of attention, like some people. So
yeah,
shots fired.
I built a bar for me to podcast on video with.
Yeah, sure.
Although there's not a big picture of me up there. Granted, everything else in this office is a shrine to me because my wife doesn't want all my wrestling stuff around the rest of the house.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, and there's still some Sooner references in here. Although I gave you some of my better Oklahoma stuff.
I do appreciate that. Yes, I need to come through all those old AWNs. That's for sure. Yeah. What else? Should we hit on anything else? I feel like this was a good show.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was one of those things that this is pick a topic each fortnight. Not playing Fortnite, and
I'm more of Call of Duty Zombies. If you want to hit me up, it's at White Wolf 405.
That's what on
Xbox.
Xbox, yeah. I was wondering.
It's at White Wolf 405, and then they added on this weird 226 number or something on there. But you'll see me. I am a top, not to brag, I'm like a top 300,000 player on Call of Duty for the rankings for Cold War. So. And
you're saying that I like to be the center of attention here? Well, I don't have any rankings of anything.
This is my show now, so
okay.
I was just, whatever about my photos. Hit me up on Call of Duty. I don't care if you.
If I knew that in advance, I would have had a graphic on screen. I mean, I could have hit this little.
I really do like playing it. Cold War is great.
Okay.
It's a good like.
Let's do the wide. Let's close out with a wide shot.
Oh yeah, wide shot. Get my good side.
The outside. Yeah. Whatever. See, I mean, Richard's even on the wall up. Where's Richard? There.
I'm right there. Yeah. Right
so
next
just off screen.
My man Joe Russell and Brian Hazard.
Yeah, I'm on the other side next to Larry Slater and Cody Bickley.
Cody's got
just
just
above Mike Zadek's beard. Yeah. But yeah, so there's the wide shot. So, Richard, appreciate you doing the guinea pig stuff. So. That's what I've got. So those of you out there at Richard_Immel, it's on the screen. I'm at Jason and Bryant. That's also on the screen. So once COVID clears up, we're looking to have some more guests in here. I'd like to get Gable in here. I'd like to get Brandon Paulson in here. I'd like to get Jake Clark and his old ass in here.
They have a hefty reputation to live up to since I was the first.
Yes. They,
I mean, I don't know if Gable can follow in my footsteps.
Nobody wants to follow BDI.
Nope. No, you don't.
At that point, thanks for watching, folks. We'll fade out. I don't know. Rock on. There's a Blood Round Bro tank over there, too. End broadcast. How'd it go? Good. Not now. No comment.
Appreciate the flexibility of movement.
Yeah,
I like that. I don't know how the microphone will pick it up, but it seems like it was going all right.
We'll find out once we